Hey everybody, it's Wes with Fundamental Games here, and we're just wrapping up day 8 of our Legends of Novus Kickstarter. I'm excited to see that we have got a little bit more fundraising today, and a little bit more backers joined our group. We're now at 169 backers and over $8,500 Canadian raised. So that is a good trend, moving back upwards from that kind of low point that we hit a few days ago. A couple things may be helping with that. We continue to promote on Kickstarter through some sponsored ads. We had the Funding the Dream podcast, thanks to Richard Bliss for taking me on that, and really had a chance to speak from the heart about what Novus meant to me and some of the things that we've tried to do to gain some early following or build a crowd before the launch type of thing. But there's only so much you can do, especially in a rural community, so really relying on where the Kickstarter goes from here to keep on growing. And one of the ways that we've done that is through reaching out to some different websites. And many of these websites, they ask for advertising money. They want money for a banner, they want money for a post on the side, they want money to put a note about your game or to actually do a long list. And trying to avoid too much of the spending on ads, because that just means paid advertising, and that doesn't always equate to genuine backers. So just trying to put it out there in those areas that are willing to post for free, and because that means it's a genuine acceptance of what Legends of Novus is, and that's a game from humble beginnings to try to get out to a broad audience. So one of the ways that we could do that, and you could even help if you want to, is through what I've created, this info sheet. So this info sheet is just basically a one-page flyer. Printed quite a few of these out for some local game stores out in Edmonton, Alberta, which is a few hours away from me, but I've got a few contacts there. But if you have anybody in your community that's willing to just post one of these sheets or leave one at a table, it actually has a QR code that will take somebody directly to our Kickstarter page. And it doesn't mean they're gonna fund it or back it, but it just helps share the message and share the game. So if you're willing to, if you want a PDF like that, I'll try to make that available to you with a download. You'll see that in the link notes tonight. And you're welcome to print it out. These cost me 40 cents Canadian a piece. I don't know how much it would cost you, or if a game store would want to print that out or not. But just imagine if we had 160 backers able to share one of these sell sheets with somebody in their community. How much could we grow the awareness of this campaign? So think about that. So other than that, I just wanted to talk about the adventure deck today. And the adventure deck influences all aspects of gameplay in Legends of Novus, whether it's how well you can win a fight, or how well you gain experience, or what kind of equipment you can put on. The adventure deck helps everything, and even has a few drawbacks, such as curse cards. The Curse of the Crow, or the terrifying visions. Those things can have a negative impact, but either way, the adventure deck adds some excitement to the game, and there won't be any game that doesn't play adventure cards. So have a look at that. That will be right after this video. And once again, thanks to all the new backers, thanks to everybody who's stuck around since day one or joined us since then, and we'll continue to grow this campaign. We're only on to day 9 soon, and long ways to go, so excited for that. See you tomorrow. Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about the adventure deck in Legends of Novus. So I don't have a character sheet set out, I don't have anything else to distract us from. We're just going to talk specifically about the adventure deck and its purpose in the game. First off, you need to know, how do I get adventure cards? Well, everybody starts with one adventure card and one reward card, so guaranteed you're going to have one of these cards in your hand at the beginning of the game. But then you can also acquire them in different ways. In an earlier video we talked about the explore mechanic, and the explore mechanic always gives you, if it's a regular explore action, will always reveal and give you the top card of the adventure deck. Unless it's an encounter card, in which case you fight that encounter right away, only at the first part of an adventure phase, or explore. The other way you can get adventure cards, the second part of the explore phase, is if you did not face an encounter, you can pick up a second adventure card or a reward card. So I could pick up a second one that way. Or if you're traveling around the world of Novus and you roll that adventure spark, that means that you get to draw an adventure card as part of your travel to where you're going. And then there may be victory conditions from creatures that will give you adventure cards, and there may be abilities from cards or from character classes that can trigger you getting adventure cards. So they're going to be, you're going to have them a lot in Legends of Novus, but there's many different kinds. So if you've read the PDF of the rulebook, you'll see some different symbols and icons. The first kind we'll talk about here is the skill adventure card. So skills, there are 7 of them in the game. And none of them are repeat, so they're rare to get out of the 60 card deck. But if you get a skill, that can be placed in one of your 3 skill slots on your character card. You would have seen that in some of the other videos. And the reason you can have up to 3 skills is if you get lucky enough to draw 3 of them, you can have multiple skills that advance what you can do in the game. And skill slots are also used for curses. So skills are permanent abilities, kind of like reward cards that get attached to your character sheet and give you a benefit. Another kind of card that you could experience is a curse. There's only 3 of these in the game, and if you draw a curse, you are immediately have to place it on your character sheet in one of the skill slots, and it's going to give you a negative effect. So for example here, the terrifying visions makes you extremely frightened of combat. So you have to attempt to escape the first round of every battle. It's not a good curse to have. There are classes and cards that can remove curses or can be protect you from curses, and there's locations you can go to such as Braille to remove curses. So there are ways around it, but it can be painful and is one of the dangers of drawing too many adventure cards. The next kind we'll talk about is encounters. So if you draw an encounter card during the first part of an explore phase, you will face an encounter instead of finishing your explore phase. Otherwise, if you get an encounter card in any other way, it goes to your hand and you can use it during the second part of an explore phase to trigger a battle. So it can create a battle that you don't want, or it can create a battle that you do want, depending on the timing of when you draw the card or when you play the card. So it's versatile in that regard. And the chances of getting these is about 10% in the deck. So. All right, next we have the travel icon. So cards that have the travel icon impact your ability to navigate the world in some way. So they may have specific times that you can play them, or a specific amount of location markers that it helps you move. But regardless, anything with that map icon in the adventure deck means that it's going to affect the way you travel the world of Novus. You'll come across treasure cards worth 5, 10, 25, or 50 gold pieces. So these are kept in your hand until you choose to redeem them for money, because you may want to discard them for other purposes to trigger special abilities of creatures or characters or classes. But you could also trade them in for money, which is their main intent, and money helps you do things in Legends of Novus, which we'll talk about in another video. There are things, these icons are called action events, and an action event can be played outside of your regular timing of when you can play adventure cards. So for example, this card, not this battle, you can only play after you draw an encounter card, and it allows you to draw a different encounter card instead. But there's different versions of action cards that can impact battle in a positive way, or can affect items in a positive way for you. There'll be other cards that are just special events, and these events have different abilities in the game. So in this one, for example, you can play this one to gain double the amount of experience you gain on the next non-quest creature you battle. So I could play this during my preparation phase or during my recovery phase, and it'll stay in play until my next battle. And again, adventure cards, if you check the rules, you can play standard adventure cards once at the beginning of your turn, once at the end of your turn in those phases, unless the card indicates otherwise. All right, there's another type of adventure card called a quest card. There are 7 of these as well, and they will take you to different parts of the world of Novus, so it kind of puts in a mini hidden quest for you. And when you get to those locations, there's something that you have to do there, and when you do, you're going to gain experience. So for example, in this quest for nature, I would have to travel up to the dark woods of Veyland, way up there, and I would have to spend my next turn exploring. When you explore there, you fight an animal creature and it gains additional combat. But when you defeat that creature, you not only gain that creature's experience, you're going to gain 3 experience from this quest card and gain that onto your sheet. There may be, let me just pull one more here. There may be alternative combat cards. So these are not regular encounters, so you don't have to fight them as soon as you draw them, like you might with a regular encounter card. But it does impact battles in one way or another. So in this case, you face 2 creatures of a type instead of 1. So that could be beneficial if you're trying to earn experience and you feel that you're strong enough to do so. And if you feel that that is not something you want to do, then that's a card you could discard for other reasons. There might be cards that just help you right off the bat. So Wealth of Knowledge means the player of your choice gains 3 experience. Again, you can't play it as soon as you draw it, but you can play it at the beginning or end of your turn during those phases. And you might wonder, why does it say a player of your choice? I mean, why would I want to help another player? Well, as we test out different variations of the game, whether it's team play or if it's cooperative play, you may be incentivized to help another player so that they get above that 10 experience to become an advanced class, or so they gain enough experience to get a little bit more combat bonus. So different reasons about why you might want to help another player, instead of just saying you gain 3 experience. A player of your choice gains 3 experience. So the decision was made not to have art on these cards, at least for most of them, other than the quest cards. And the reason for that is we're trying to keep the game iconic, and icons are one way to do that. So you can see pictures on any Magic card, you can see pictures on any other game card. These icons are specific to Legends of Novus, and they really, when you pick it up, you know what's going to happen with that card. You know that this card means combat. You know that this card means travel. I don't have to read the whole text to know what kind of general impact this card is going to have to me on the game. And then the other thing is for cost control. We're trying to bring a game to you that has a cost that is affordable, and art is expensive, especially the art that we're looking for in Legends of Novus. I mean, if you've seen, we've talked about it before, the art of the Orc Warrior, if you've seen the art of the quest creatures, the Skeletal Knight, this art is amazing. And Andrea and Boris, who does the location art, which is just as amazing, they deserve to be compensated well for what they're doing for this game. And I want this art to be top-notch quality. So if you enjoy great, high-quality fantasy art, Legends of Novus is going to have that in abundance, but it's not going to be in the adventure deck because these cards don't generally stay on the table, and they have a low impact longevity in the game. So that is a quick summary. I guess 9 minutes isn't so quick, but that is a summary of the adventure deck in Legends of Novus. Thank you for listening.